Hopper! First thing when I get out to unload all this, I brought the post down for chain link. First thing I smell. There's a skunk around here somewhere. And I've got a dog that will mess with it. We might get our first taste of what it's like when copper gets sprayed by a skunk. Alright, let's get to work. Legs out of the way. Well, I have bad news to report. The Shiro Plum and the Emperor Francis Sweet Cherry are dead. The female kiwi is dead. The goji berry has been dead for a while, but that's dead. The Rainier's kind of hanging on. The alderman plums, hanging on. Some things are doing pretty good, but something must be done about these deer. I did bring some spray, so we'll spray the underside of leaves for those, but kind of expected this to happen. You do have some failures, and especially when I'm not able to be here, which is kind of frustrating because it's pretty much a wild forest, you know, and thus I'm here to scare deer and rabbits and stuff off. And it's gonna rain today, which is fantastic because we've been really short on rain here, and luckily we have clay loam for soil, so it holds pretty well, but we're definitely short, and I think they're predicting up to an inch. Good stuff. There's a big old front cloud moving in right now. You can already see rain falling about 8 miles to the west here. It starts falling here soon. Alright, so we're back at the farm here, and I'm not really doing too much of the other yard right now, just because it's sticky and humid and it's actually currently raining. But I'm planning on doing some cement work next year on the farmstead, and I remember that my dad had this old cement mixer, and it sure would be nice to have a cement mixer, so I'm looking to see what it would take. Looks like it has a belt. It's belt driven somehow. Look at that. It's been sitting here for 40 years. So I have to find a way to make this thing functional again so I can use it next year. So this will save me a whole bunch of soreness mixing. It'll be part of this weekend's project. Alright, I gotta break the zerk loose. Oh, it worked. This drive gear isn't letting it spin, so when I rotate it, you can see this actual drum moving. It's just this. So something in this mechanism's all seized up. We'll have to start smacking stuff with a hammer to see if anything works. Haha, I got it. Check this out. Look at that. Cool. This will serve me well on the farmstead. moves in all axes. It has a little, like a stop here so you can swivel it.
Is there a Zerk on here?
There's one right here.
How about on here? There's something here.
It actually spins in the air to break that free.
Oh, yeah.
Go for this axle.
Restored house? Oh.
Could have been at this guy, but it could have been
Well,
under.
try his grease gun on there. And here you just oil these holes here.
I mean, mounting that thing down there should be pretty easy. Just needs a plate and then drill some holes for some bolts to go through and then find the right belt.
Yeah, I wouldn't cut anything off here. I'd make it, of course, dual powered, but no, I wouldn't eliminate one method.
Time to cut. Clean it up a little bit. For how bad of a job I didn't do too bad of a job. I completely forgot we had a bandsaw sitting in the back of the shop. So here I am cutting through this steel, doing a terrible job. You just put it in the bandsaw. Well, I'm really glad I found, or I remembered we had the bandsaw, because I could have had cuts that look like that. But instead, I have cuts that look like that. Now to drill them. Alright, so I've got my pilot holes drilled, but now I need to drill them out to final width. Your first hole is to get everything aligned, because bigger drill bits don't stay centered quite as well. Plus, it helps reduce the material that the big one has to move. Just makes things a lot less stressful. So we're gonna get those final ones drilled up, and then we're ready to do some mounting and welding. So I can get soaked. You having fun? Alright, change up the drill. When you're tightening down a Jacob's chuck, always tighten all three. I don't care if it feels tight after two, because I've done that plenty of times and had it come loose on me, and then the vise and the part you're drilling just spins around, and it has the power of this motor behind it. So, I mean, that's something you don't really want to have to deal with, because that's a lot of power. And if your hand's in the way, well, better hope you have a good health insurance policy. There's a good chance you could lose some fingers. Like that. So you always have your hands in a position where if it lets loose, you're not going to lose a finger, because that happens all too often. I need to really bolt this thing down to the table. All right, moment of truth. Does it fit? Oh, just barely. All right. Bolts weren't quite long enough. Get different ones.
Cut this okay?
Yeah, I had to cut through both sides, and then I just took it outside and hit it with a sledgehammer a bunch. Okay, so we've got our mounting brackets on. Jeez, that's heavy. That's as heavy as a car battery. Must be solid steel. And then our plate is right here. That's gonna be mounted. That's way too tall. let's take, we're gonna cut those shorter. They're a little long. Well, I gotta say, for not picking up a welder in a long time, that's not that bad. I mean, I wouldn't pay me $30 an hour to do it. Other than being crooked, it's kind of stacking dimes. Now you welders are gonna say that's terrible. It'll hold. Okay, we're done cutting, hopefully. Still pretty hot, so I can't really grab it wherever I want. Now, I just need to mount this to the actual frame. We'll just drill a couple holes for that. And then get hydraulic fittings, get a pulley, get a belt. And we're gonna go, hi Copper. Hi, are you scared of all the welding and the grinding and the cutting and the drilling? You'll get used to it. You'll get used to it, my dog. So, unfortunately we don't have a pulley or a belt. So we'll have to custom order those and then get some hydraulic fittings, but hopefully next time I'm down here we'll have that. We can at least have this thing functional. I need a center punch. Back in May when Allie was with me and we were pulling stuff out of the ground over at the farmstead, I accidentally bent up the front grill. I had my tow rope wrapped around that one. I didn't even realize it. It should have been wrapped around here. But I felt bad, obviously, so we're gonna bend it back and weld it on for my dad while he's gone. It was his birthday yesterday, so a little bit of a birthday present, kind of. And then I also refinished his grandfather's 22 long rifle. It was handed down to obviously his dad and then him, and then I guess he just didn't like the finish on it. It was redone in the 70s by his older brother and it just kind of never really looked the same, so redid it with mahogany, so that's drying right now, and then we'll get this all patched back up for him while he's gone. Hopefully we're done by the time he gets back. Alright, we're pretty much there. Alright, moment of truth. Terrible. Now, to just spot weld that one in the middle back there. Hopefully I can get something. I need a place to hook onto the frame. Since I'm gonna be painting it anyway once I get, I'll go right here. Good connection. Time to degreaser. and then put a coat of primer on. She's ready for paint after it dries. And I have to figure out what color Ford uses. Whatever their old orange was. Not a clue. But we'll get that, and then this will be nice and pretty again. Capricorn, let's go watch the sunset. Come on, let's go. Ah, we missed it. Shoot. Still pretty though. Another day. Oh my goodness. It's really hard to work at the farmstead when it's so like sticky. It's not hot, it's just when you sweat it doesn't dry out, which is frustrating. So I figured I'd get some farm projects done this weekend. Work on my welding game. Yeah, tomorrow probably just gonna unload that trailer, go drop off the canoe. Spray the trees, keep the deer away. I don't know, it was just kind of nice to come down here and do what I usually did before we started, you know, working for this yard. Returning a little bit to normal here. Let's turn this guy around. I got new pulleys for this, so I got my torque back. Because when I upgraded wheel sizes, I gained speed, but I lost a lot of torque. So now I have full torque back, and I mean, check this out. Oh yeah, it was a little scary. It'll move you, that's for sure. And now with these bigger tires, I can do stuff like this. Whole lot easier. So we're gonna take you on a little look-see over here. I was just meandering my way through the orchard. The grapes are turning purple. This is exciting stuff. This is the biggest grape crop we've ever had too. I mean, everything's just packed with grapes. Probably close to 60 or 70 pounds. All right. Not a whole lot going on over at the farmstead this weekend, but still pretty productive. There we go. Just did a lot of stuff on the farmyard that I had been planning to do for a while. And I just wait, Freckles chasing a kitten. Freckles! Leave the cat alone! Got the cement mixer out and pretty much ready to go, aside from getting a pulley and a belt for it, and then some hydraulic fittings. But what we're hoping to do is tow it around on the tractor and be able to mix cement anywhere you want without having to go through the stress of dragging that heavy cast iron mixer around, because it's no Harbor Freight cement mixer. It was made in 1930, 1940, so it's solid cast iron. But yeah, and then got the water pump going, which I plan to turn into a water trailer. So I have like a 50-gallon tank on the trailer, and then have that water pump on the back hooked up to some kind of flow control valve so we can have pressurized water. And that's something that sure would be nice if we have another field fire like we did in 2006. That was $500 just to get the fire department out there. But, you know, just making old things useful again that have kind of sat around for a while, keeping them up, making them look nice, making them functional, so that the farm and the farmstead are both able to be more efficient. Because if you've got all this stuff, you might as well keep it nice, keep it in working order so that you're able to use it. Otherwise, it's just an eyesore and a pile of scrap iron laying around. Let's take gravel back. And the best part about the whole weekend is we got 4 inches of rain between Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Absolutely fantastic, because we haven't had rain in quite a while. The soil's getting mighty dry. And this should hold the corn and the soybeans through till harvest, or at least close to it. And the orchard definitely needed water too. So definitely a gift from above sort of thing, because you know, we got decent rains in the spring, but then it was dry for probably the past month and a half. So good stuff, lots of good stuff going on this weekend. But Allie's actually trying to figure out a time that she can come down to me, because if I recall correctly, she hasn't been down to the farm since May 30th, which 3 months ago, 2 months ago. It's really nice. It's just nice to have someone working along with me, and to bounce ideas off of, because it's her yard too. You know, getting the lay of the land and just trying to figure out the best way to do things. So until then,